76ers today. Tip-off is coming up at 4:30, and then the Blazers will travel today to Toronto and have a matchup with the Raptors tomorrow before they finish out the mini three-game trip Wednesday in Detroit against the Pistons. So Burkhardt and I are going to be doing some multitasking today as we watch our NFL teams play as we handle game day as the Blazers get ready for game number 3 on the season. Here's what I've got coming up on the show for you. Here in about 15 minutes, we'll get to What's the Scoot. We're going to hear from Scoot following the game against Orlando, and then we'll discuss some of his struggles that we're seeing early in the season. It's challenging for rookies in the NBA, especially ones who are taking on a massive workload, and that's exactly what's going on with Scoot. The game is much faster. The athletes are much better, so he's seeing things in real time, and he's probably like, wow, I didn't know that. So we'll hear from Scoot coming up in 15 minutes. I'll get to a scoreboard report and let you know what's going on around the NFL. And, of course, coming up in the NBA today, I'll have my Coors Light Cold Hard Facts as we get ready for the game today. We'll hear from Chauncey Billups, and both Chris and I will hand out our keys to the game. But the Trailblazers going through some of their early season struggles, which I think most of us anticipated based on a brand new roster, the lack of continuity, only 4 players on the roster right now that were on the roster at the beginning of last season. And you've got a bunch of guys together who don't know each other, don't really know each other personally, have never really played a lot of basketball together. They went through camp, and then boom, a few weeks later, the season has begun. So we're seeing a lot of changes with this team. Keep in mind, it's one of the youngest Trailblazer rosters of all time, and it's the youngest roster in the NBA. So when you combine all of those factors, you're going to have messy basketball, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now from Portland, who had 18 turnovers in their first game at LA against the Clippers. They had 16 in the loss to Orlando on Friday. But I guess there were a couple of takeaways I had in the game against Orlando that I was impressed with. Number one, they played with more effort, more fight, more scrappiness, and a lot more energy. Now, I would anticipate that to happen with it being the home opener, and you're taking on a team in Orlando that's, not the same type of talent that you're going to see with the Clippers. So that was good. And this team, if they want to compete and they want to be in a position to challenge and have an opportunity to win games, especially with Ant out for 4 to 6 weeks with that thumb surgery, they're going to have to really grind and fight and scrap. This team is not good enough to not go out there and have massive hustle in all phases of the game. So I'm going to watch energy level, and that shouldn't be too much of a problem with the young basketball team. You would think. Also, I really did like Chauncey Billups and the message he gave Scoot after the opener in LA against the Clippers. He said, hey, I'm 47 years old. I'm not in good shape right now. I could play at the pace that you did in the opener against the Clippers. You need to pick it up. You're Scoot Henderson. I like that message because for a young basketball player that's still trying to learn his way as he's just starting out his NBA career, you keep it simple. You simplify things. And that's a message that Scoot can understand. And we saw Scoot playing at a better pace in game number 2 against Orlando. And I also like the emergence that we saw from DeAndre Ayton, who had a much better performance in game number 2. He stayed out of foul trouble early. He had 14 points, 15 rebounds, and he was 7 of 9 from the floor. He played 30 minutes. Much more productive, and I'm excited to see Ayton today. 1, can he stay out of foul trouble early? 2, how is he going to match up, and how well will he do against Joel Embiid, the reigning NBA MVP? It's a great opportunity for him to really go out there and showcase what he can do with his length and his size. So I'm hoping that he can have a good performance. Now, Scoot Henderson, on the other hand, struggled with foul trouble, and I think that's pretty much what plagued him in that game against Orlando. Malcolm Brogdon, once again, 18 points off the bench. You can see it when he's in the game. The offense and the whole function of everything runs better, and that's because of his experience. He's a better player today than Scoot. He's got more experience. He's very sure-handed with the basketball, and you can see the difference or when you compare him to Scoot, just the way he operates. He's under control. He's got a good feel for the game, and he's been very productive through 2 games for the Portland Trailblazers, which is nice. Robert Williams only played 20 minutes in the game, but when he's on the floor, just the presence. He's an aggressive man, good defender, and I like the energy that he brings to the floor for the Trailblazers. The big issue, of course, without Ant is going to be scoring. Where are the points going to come from? Now, Shaden Sharp led the way with 24 points. It was a game high, and he got the start in place of Anthony Simons. There was discussion before the game about what Chauncey Billups would do. Would he go with Malcolm Brogdon? Would he go with Shaden Sharp? And he decided to go with Sharp. And what's even more encouraging is after the game, he flat out said that he's going to move forward with Sharp and Scoot together, that they're young, they need to learn, and this is a great opportunity for them. And I applaud Chauncey and the organization for that decision. They need to have those two guys learning and developing. Malcolm Brogdon is a nice player. Matisse Thybulle is a good teammate and a vet. But those guys are not part of the long-term picture here in Portland, right? And we know that this year is not about wins and losses. It's about development. It's about the coaches laying a foundation for how they want their guys to play. It's about teaching and getting the youngsters up to speed so they can become productive, legitimate NBA players. So if that's the case, then I don't think you want to burn too many minutes on the guys who are likely going to be gone maybe this year before the deadline, maybe during the summertime. I think it's pretty obvious what Portland is trying to do. Just look at their roster. A lot of youth, very young roster, and a lot of veterans who will be coveted by contenders around the league. Contenders. There are going to be teams out there that could see a big need for a Malcolm Brogdon or a Robert Williams or maybe a Jeremy Grant or a Matisse Thybulle. So the Blazers, it's really two-pronged in terms of their approach this year. One, it's about player development. And two, it's about talent and asset acquisition, period. That's exactly what it's about. Anything less than that is crazy. They need to make sure that they do whatever it takes to get everyone up to speed and to teach and to coach. So a couple of years down the road, we'll see Scoot and Shaden really start to emerge. And then from that, you got to continue to acquire talent and shape the roster the way that you see fit. You know, your vision, Joe Cronin's vision. And we'll see how that shakes out. And then we're going to have to see some type of fork in the road. I don't know when that's going to come, but Chris and I were talking about this the other night, where at some point the franchise is going to have to look at their guard situation with Anthony Simons and Shaden Sharp and make a decision. The one thing we see with Shaden, and especially the other night, when Ant is not on the floor, and this was the case last year, when he's not on the floor, what you have is a situation where Shaden Sharp is much more aggressive. He gets to his spots. He understands his role. He's not afraid to shoot. He's not as passive. There are a lot of good things that come from that. And that's really what you want to see from, you know, the Blazers. What is going to be the plan there? I love Ant. Ant's awesome. And I feel bad for him that he's out after working his tail off to get into a position where he could take over and have it be his team. He's the best player right now and their number one option. Great shooter. He can score. So what's going to be the plan there? But we don't need to worry about it. The great thing about this year is that there's no pressure right now on the Blazers to do anything. They don't have to rush. They don't have to freak out. They can sit back and wait and see what teams present offers for the players that they have. And if they like the offer, they can execute a move. If they don't, then they get no pressure. They don't have to do anything right now. And I love that. So get out there with the youngsters, let them play, and hopefully they can continue to grind and develop. And I think for Shaden Sharp, the key will be, one, remaining aggressive and not being passive on the floor. Number two, making sure that your habits on and off the floor are that of an NBA player and what it takes to develop and continue to get to the next level. That's critical. Absolutely critical. You've got to make sure that you're doing the little things the right way so you can continue to improve. Work ethic is going to be key for him. And with his athleticism, you could see the comfort level in which he operates with. His shot looks good. In the open floor, he looks good. He's just a special player. And hopefully we'll see the youngsters remain engaged defensively. And as I mentioned before, and I'll continue to say this over and over and over again, watch the coaching staff. Watch the players and how they're receiving the message. Are they getting better game to game? Are we seeing improvements? Is the message getting across? That is so critical. Everyone asks me, like, hey, what do you think about Chauncey Billups? Hey, Chad, what about Chauncey? Is he the right coach? I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea if Chauncey Billups is the right coach. But we're going to find out a lot more this year. We will. I know a lot of people want Chauncey gone right now. But you've got to remember they can remain patient. A couple of tank years. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and see what can happen over the next, couple of months with the development of the players. But those guys have got to coach their tails off. They got to teach and they've got to lay the foundation. But they should look at it as an opportunity. You got young players who can be shaped and molded. They're just lumps of clay. Turn them into what you want them to be. What else can you ask for? So, hey, we can just chill. I'm not asking you to be patient. Just relax and enjoy the development. You already know right now this team's not going anywhere this year. So you can embrace it and watch the development of the players. And hopefully they'll give us some exciting games, some exciting moments, some competitive basketball, and really go out there and get after it. That's what I'm hoping for. And hopefully Scoot will continue to emerge. Now, with Scoot Henderson, I would say this, and we'll get to more of this with What's the Scoot. I think you just got to play him. And you got to continue to play him big minutes and just live with the bumps, the struggles, all the issues that you get from a rookie. The best way to learn is to be out there on the floor playing. Just ask Anthony Simons, who had to wait and wait and wait until he finally got a chance to really get after it. All right, Chris Burkhardt is here, my man. We are live on YouTube right now. Is that correct? Streaming on Gameday?
That is correct. For the first time ever.
I'm not going to get too excited, but the Denver Broncos have a 14-3 lead on the Kansas City Chiefs, trying to snap a 16-game losing streak to that team. So I'm very excited right now. That would feel very good.
That's right. Be excited. Hey, a friend of the show, actually, straight up son of the show, Michael Shacker, texted me, said he was trying to watch and that he couldn't watch because the camera was picking up your laptop and he could see the game and he didn't want to watch the Bronco game right now. So we'll see how long you and I last before the NFL shuts our broadcast down.
That's right. I guess if need be, I could turn. How's that? If I adjust the computer just a little
You're
bit.
still in, but it's harder to see. Then Shacker can't complain. So.
All right. You know what it is? He's just freaking out because he likes to watch all the games after they're done. And he doesn't want to know the score ahead of time. He's a weirdo like that.
Hey, I laugh. I say for a guy who doesn't sit and talk on the mic all day like you and I, he watches probably more football than anybody I know.
Anyone I know. It's amazing. More than Ron Jaworski or anyone else. But what a wild sports weekend. By the way, just let me say this. A great performance by the Ducks. They dominated all phases of the entire game and destroyed Utah. I still have no idea what Jonathan Smith was doing with that fake field goal with 3 seconds on the clock before the half. Terrible decision. Take the points, you dumb. Woo! Brutal.
He didn't want to actually, and maybe I give him credit for it, but he didn't want to learn from Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks mistakes. He didn't want to admit that he learned something from him. Because if he learned something from him, it would have been, like you just said, take the points.
Take the points.
Take the points.
There's no shame in taking the points. And they lose by 3. Absolutely brutal. Brutal. All right, we'll keep things rolling. We're going to come back with What's the Scoot? We'll hear from Scoot Henderson following the game against Orlando, and then we'll talk about why he's struggling right now. There's many reasons, but they got to continue to play him, I think. Big minutes. All right, game day tip-off with the Blazers and Sixers coming up at 4:30 here on 620 Rip City Radio.
The best performing team requires the best workstations. What's the Scoot is brought to you by Office Furniture Reborn. Need desks, better office chairs, or just the right file cabinet? Office Furniture Reborn has a huge selection of colors and sizes to choose from. So drop by Office Furniture Reborn's huge showroom just off Pacific Highway in 217 or visit www.officefurniturereborn.com.
All right, Scoot Henderson in game number 2 against the Orlando Magic finished with 7 points and 2 assists, 5 fouls, and 5 turnovers, just 3 of 12 shooting, 1 of 5 from downtown. So it was not a productive night for Scoot in 25 minutes. A lot of that due to the foul issues. What I want to do is take a listen to Scoot following the game, and then when we're finished with that, we'll talk about some of the issues that he's facing right now early in his NBA career. Here is Scoot following the Blazers' 102-97 loss to the Magic.
But I gotta stop fouling for sure.
Is there anything? Is this mostly you, or is it just dealing with competition?
It's just
officials?
well, yeah. I wouldn't blame it on the officials, honestly. The officials doing their job. They seen the call. They see me playing overly aggressive. But I'm learning the game as an NBA and as a pro player, and the officials are also learning me too, and they're also learning how the Trailblazers play this year. And Chauncey wants us to play aggressive and physical and fast and get downhill. So, it's going to be trial and error. The first couple of games I'm already knowing what officials trying to learn us and us trying to learn the officials and how we can get certain calls and how we can try to, back off. And I play a huge part in that and just watching film. So,
Scoot, did you overall feel more comfortable tonight than you did the other night in LA?
For sure. But the Trailblazers fan base, man, they helped me tonight for sure. They gave me that extra little boost. You can see I was fired up early, and then I got those foul calls that kind of messed up my rhythm a little bit. But definitely just felt more comfortable. I'm ready to get back at it. Like, I wish we had a game tomorrow. But I'm probably gonna say in the middle of the season, like, God dang, I'm tired at this point. I hope we don't play tomorrow, but. Right now it's early in the season, so I'm just ready to just learn and look at the film.
Young legs.
Exactly. That's all I can say. I just got young legs right now.
Scoot, Chauncey mentioned teams are going to under you on everything, and a couple of things he was trying to get you going in those kind of empty corner pick and rolls, so you can do a little bit more. You get to first look on Franz where you can kind of get by him. What are the things that you feel like the little markers you can go, okay, I'm a little bit more comfortable here. I can do a little bit more here that you can kind of build on.
Taking advantage of when they go under, Under is, I wouldn't call it honestly, I think it's a bad defensive mechanism for me personally, because all I got to do is flip it and then, get back downhill. They can't go under twice, so and if they do, I just got to be confident in my shot to hit that shot every single time. And, that's something I'm working on with Malk. He has that under his belt. Just watching the film, like I said, but just gotta continue to work on it, every day. In the gym, just working on that same shot I'm beginning the game, and as you can see, I got the same shot about 4 times. Just gotta knock those down. So,
Scoot, you kind of touched on it. How much has Malcolm kind of helped you with some of these early struggles?
It's every day. It's every day with Malcolm. It's every day with the coaches as well. But me and Malcolm, we're building a connection, guard wise and person wise. We talking about financial things, things that can help me, in the long run. And also in the game, we watching film on the plane when we came back from LA. So I think our relationship is going to grow, and with the guards and the bigs, we're just going to have a crazy connection, man. I just can't wait till that day comes.
With Ant out for a couple weeks, Coach told Shaden to be more aggressive and get out there and enjoy your game. Has he pretty much said the same thing to you?
I think my role hasn't changed. My role is to get everybody involved. I'm the point guard, so I got to get everybody involved and do what I have to do on both ends of the floor. that's the shooting guard's area. You know, Shea's the shooting guard, and he can play the guard as well, but that's where he's most effective, aggressive, getting downhill, trying to score. My job is to get everybody in their position, to put them in the perfect position for them to be successful. So I don't think my job changed at all. You know, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to try to get downhill, create for others. I'm going to get downhill, hit shots, hit open shots. So
What do you lose with Ant? What do you lose with Ant being out for those 4 to 6?
we lose a deadly scorer, you know, a deadly scorer, and also somebody that loves the game. We lose somebody that has a lot of passion for it, that has a lot of passion for winning, and hates losing. You can see that, you know, a lot of people don't take him for a defensive player, but when he gets on defense, he's trying his best every single time, and we can see that, and we feed off that. And as you've seen tonight, when one person is doing it, everybody, you know, as a collective, we come right behind them. And, you know, obviously I started off with a little fire, and everybody, you know, you see they kind of gravitated to it. So, and then when Malcolm came in, same thing. So I think for this team, is losing Ant is one thing, but I think for Shea and us, we just got to step it up. You know, simple as that.
Scoot, what are some of the differences between playing, you know, with Shea, where it's, you know, the two of you kind of figuring it out together as kind of two young guys, versus one of you playing with Ant, or one of you playing with Malcolm, you know, having kind of more of a veteran to stabilize what happens?
I think I can kind of, you know, connect it to what I was doing last year with playing with, like, a veteran, whether it was Poole, whether it was John Jenkins. It kind of gives us that, like, helping somebody knowing the whole game, and they've been in it. You know, they've been through the ups and downs. They've been in the same situation that we're about to see in the next time we go down. So I think that's just losing a little bit of age, but, man, Chauncey says it all the time, that don't matter when you're hooping. Like, it really don't. Whether we learn on the fly, like, he wants us to make mistakes while we're playing hard. So kind of that playing hard, you know, overlook it at some point. But I don't think we lose too much. You know.
I got another player coming, so I apologize. There we go. Go ahead.
Thank you. How do you feel about this new team?
I feel great about it. You know, we're young. We're thriving to be one of the top teams in the NBA soon. So, but we got some dogs. We're dogs. So I think we're gonna have fun. You know, learning it together. Like we always say, we're just on the grind together. So it's gonna be fun. You know, we're gonna go through ups and downs as a regular NBA team would. But I think it's going to be fun in the years to come, in this season as well. So,
all right, there's Scoot. You know, you can tell by his delivery, his countenance, he's not beaten down or frustrated. He's just embracing the workload that is required to be able to get through these early season struggles as he learns how to play the NBA game. And it's been a tough start for him. 34% shooting, 12.5% from beyond the arc, and 4.5 turnovers per game with only 3 assists. That's not exactly what Trailblazer fans had in mind. That's probably not what Scoot had in mind. That's not what anyone had in mind. But I think what's going on here is a couple of different things. One, you've got this whole situation where you've got the adjustment for rookies, and that's really just how fast the game moves, right? The speed of NBA basketball. The guys that he played with in the G League are not like the guys he's facing now, because the big forwards, your power forwards and your centers, a lot of them can move like some of the smaller guys, whether it be guards or forwards, maybe in the G League or the college level. So there's an adjustment there, right? And what's happening with Scoot is the game's going so fast. He sees things that he thinks are there. He sees passing lanes that he thinks are open, but they close, and he just can't execute the way he's accustomed to. So I think the biggest thing for him right now is just to continue to play, continue to study the film, and as he continues to engage and get into activity out there on the floor, the game will start to slow down. His body will adjust, his eyes will adjust, he'll feel the speed, he'll see the speed of the NBA game, and then all of a sudden the passing lanes, he'll understand them better. This is all part of the adjustment. It's not an excuse. It's just he's playing horrific basketball through 2 games, but this is a normal process for rookies, for almost all rookies. It's rare to see a rookie come out and just dominate from day one. And the shooting, I mean, that was a concern long before he was drafted. He's not known as a guy that can stroke it from downtown. Shooting is not his strength. You're hoping that it will develop and get better over time. What you want from him the most is handling the basketball, attacking the defense, and setting up his teammates. You want to see those assist numbers go up, and they will. They will, but the G League is not a good way to prepare for what you're going to see in the NBA athletes, the players that he's facing on a nightly basis in the starting lineup. So he's going up against the best of the best. And he's going to see more of that tonight against Philadelphia. But if he truly is great, and he believes he is, and scouts believe he will be, then he needs to be out there on the floor grinding, working, and getting through that and adjusting. And with that, he'll learn and get a better feel for the game, and it's all good. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on Game Day. When we come back, we will give you a scoreboard report from around the NFL and let you know what's coming up in the association. Tonight, Chris Burkhardt is here. We will hear from Chauncey Billups as well. You can join us on the YouTube live stream. Just go to youtube.com and pull up Rip City Radio 620, and you'll see the live link right there. Chris and I have both tweeted it out on X. You'll find me there at Chad and Rip City. Tip-off with the Blazers and Sixers coming up at 4:30. Tomorrow they're in Toronto against the Raptors. Same tip-off time, 4:30, with Game Day starting at 2.
Blazers Game Day Scoreboard Report, powered by Columbia Heating and Cooling, raising your expectations of comfort.
All right, we'll start with the NFL. Right now, second quarter up in Seattle. The Seahawks on top of the Browns, 17-14. Geno Smith with 175 yards passing and a touchdown so far. Second quarter in Denver, the Broncos on top of the Chiefs by a score of 14-6. Jerry Jeudy has 2 receptions, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Second quarter in Arizona, Ravens and Cardinals tied at 7. Down in Santa Clara, the Bengals on top of the 49ers by a score of 14-10. Joe Burrow has 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sunday Night Football, we've got the Bears and Chargers, 5:20 on NBC. LA favored by 9.5. Finals from earlier today, Cowboys 43, Rams 20. CeeDee Lamb had 12 receptions, 158 yards, and 2 scores. Vikings over the Packers, 24-10. Titans topped the Falcons, 28-23. Will Levis had 4 touchdowns passing to go along with 238 yards. Saints win in Indianapolis, 38-27 over the Colts. Dolphins 31, Patriots 17. New England now 2-6. Miami improves to 6-2. In overtime, the Jets over the Giants, 13-10. Jaguars win in Pittsburgh, 20-10. And the Eagles top the Commanders, 38-31. And the Panthers over the Texans, 15-13 in Carolina. Coming up on the NBA slate, one game in action down in Oklahoma City. Nuggets hammering the Thunder 121-87. Jokic, an animal, 28 points, 14 boards. At 4 o'clock, the Warriors will be in Houston to meet the Rockets. Also at 4 o'clock, Hawks are in Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. By the way, Golden State a 7-point favorite over to Houston. Milwaukee 6.5-point favorite over Atlanta. At 4:30, the Trailblazers in Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. Right now, Philly an 8-point favorite. 6 o'clock NBA TV, Spurs at the Clippers, LA a 9.5-point favorite. And 6 o'clock in Sacramento, a pair of one-on-one teams, Lakers and Kings, with Sacramento favored by 2.5. And that is your scoreboard report. Let's take a listen to Coach Billups following the Blazers' 102-97 loss to the Magic. Following the game, here's Coach Billups.
But did you see more of an offensive identity from the team tonight, get more into the stuff that you kind of wanted to get into?
Yeah, I thought we, you hit it on the head. I mean, we just couldn't make, but I thought we did a pretty good job of getting a lot of the shots that we wanted to get. We got some really good looks. I thought our intensity was good. We played hard as hell, and that's what we got to be. That's what we got to be. Like I said, you can hang your hat on a game like that saying, we just couldn't get over the hump, offensively, but I thought our defense was really good against a good team.
Shaedon's performance tonight and how important the next few weeks are going to be for him, obviously, with Anthony sidelined?
Yeah, I thought Shea was obviously Shea was really good. We needed his scoring, we needed his shooting. With Ant down, obviously we have a void there, So I thought he stepped in and he was aggressive the entire time, and he's going to have to be the entire time. I'm sorry, but that's what we want Shaedon to be. Whether he's coming off the bench or starting or whatever, he's going to be a long time starter in this league, and that's the guy that he's going to need to be. And obviously his offense stood out, but I thought defensively he did a good job too. He's picking guys up in the backcourt. He's challenging guys. I thought it was a really good game for Shea.
Pre-game when you said that we hope he can become Devin Booker, I mean, obviously I know who Devin Booker is, but can you elaborate exactly what you mean by that?
Well, I think Devin Booker is I personally think he's one of the top 5 or 6 players in the league. And the way that he had to grind to come up through the ranks, coming into the league, he played for, 4 or 5 different coaches the first 4 or 5 years, learned different system every single year. He continued to play the right way no matter who was coaching him. And then bang, they started to turn their thing around. They started to get all these players, and he stayed consistent the whole time and kept getting better, no matter what was going on with the team. And now he's one of the very best in the league, and I think that's a great model for Shaedon. You know, he's got that type of talent offensively, you know, and defensively. So to me, that should be his model.
So it's not necessarily the style of game, but how he went about the game?
No, style too. Style too. Oh, yeah, style too. I mean, you look at Book. He can run pick and rolls. Shaden's already getting pretty good at running pick and rolls. He can shoot stand-still threes. Shaden is really good. He's not shooting it great from three, you know, in the first game. And even today, he wasn't excellent, but you're not leaving him. You know, he's a knockdown shooter. Mid-range is really good. He can get to the basket. Obviously, we know what he can do at the rim, you know. So he's a three-level scorer. So, no, I'm talking not only his process, you know, but just his game.
Orlando kind of jumped on you guys early. You were able to kind of reel it back in as time went on. What did you guys change, or what did you do differently after that first quarter when I think they had like 7 or 8 dunks? I think they scored a bunch of points in the paint.
I didn't make any adjustments other than coming in a timeout and just asking who are we gonna be, man? People just keep coming in here like we got to scrap. We at home, like we got to scrap in these games, and whatever happens, happens. And we just started playing so much harder. You know, we started playing so much harder, and we got ourselves back in the game. You know, and I thought our defense. I was really proud of our guys defensively in this game. But there was a moment. There's always a moment. You know, when you're playing hard. There was a moment in the second quarter. I think it was maybe 3 minutes or something left. We up 5. We scrapping. We up 5. They're on the free throw line. Give up that offensive rebound. They get fouled and 1. 2 and 1s. I mean, it just changed the game. It changed the game. And obviously in a fourth quarter game, you know, a 5-point game or whatever, like it's always a moment of truth there where you can't lose focus. And that was it, you know. So that's something that we'll teach and talk about. You can never let off the gas. We finally got the game playing the way that we needed to play. I think we had like 10 fast break points in the second quarter. They had 11 in the first quarter, 0 in the second quarter. We got the momentum, and then in that one instance, we gave it back. So we got to just be able to focus better, longer.
Scoot said after the Clippers loss, he was determined to get back to attacking and spraying. And they really couldn't get things going tonight. Obviously, he had foul trouble, but why do you think he struggled again in this game?
Well, I thought his intent was good. It was much better today. He did attack. He just wasn't able to complete it. And obviously, anybody that's played basketball, you know, it's tough to play basketball when you're in foul trouble. You can't be aggressive. You can't attack. You're so worried about, you know. I got these guys picking up kind of almost full court. He's even scared to do that, you know, when you get into foul trouble. So his whole rhythm was off the whole time. I mean, I couldn't play him at all in the second quarter, you know, and he picked up his third. So it just the rhythm's been very, very funky for him, and it just hadn't allowed him to get into a rhythm.
Chauncey, speaking of Scoot, the Clippers, they had 5 guys in the paint every time he loaded up on the ball. It looked like you tried to get some empty side pick and rolls with him, like to clear that backside out for him, allow him to attack. What other spots can you kind of put him in to make things a little easier on him?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a pick and roll player. You know, he's going to be a pick and roll player. He's going to have to do it. You know, as he starts to learn, he'll be better about reading situations. You know, obviously teams are going under on him. And so twisting it, you know, and bringing that screen back in it, and then being able to read the plays quicker, you know. People going to be in the paint, you got to spray it. You know, you just got to spray it. Just take it easy. Don't worry about it. You'll get an opportunity the next time instead of holding it, bringing it back. But he just hadn't been able to get a rhythm, so he's trying. You know, he's trying. But we just got to play a very simple game. You know, and they're in the paint, just kick it. We shoot it or make the next play. We'll see what happens. There's going to be another possession in 24 seconds. You know, so. But he's not there yet. You know, he's just not there yet, and it's okay. It's fine.
There's Chauncey Billups following the Blazers' loss, 102-97 to the Magic. All right, let's talk Scoot Burkhardt. He's struggling right now, which is understandable. He's a rookie who's only played 2 games in the NBA. It sounds like the Blazers are trying to keep things simple. I personally think that this is just going to work itself out as he, gets a feel for the speed of the game and gets more experience under his belt. How do you see it? How should the Blazers handle Scoot as he continues to learn the NBA game and how to get up to speed?
Just keep doing what you're doing. I think suggesting otherwise is just kind of ludicrous, right? Like, this guy is young. He needs to get thrown into the fire. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's facing the best players in the world on a rookie team that's going to take their lumps. Like, the minute you traded Dame, Chad, you knew this team was going to take their lumps, right?
Yeah.
So if Scoot's taking them, why be upset by that? Let him take them. And I think, again, what you want is you just want to watch him get better.
Yeah.
Because from game 1 to game 2, yeah, he still had an air quotes terrible game, but I saw improvement. When coach said, I want you to be more aggressive, I want you, the quote about tempo and stuff, and you saw him play faster, you saw him play more aggressive. That's coachability, man. And he shows that he has it. So I don't want to take him off the court or say, okay, when Ant comes back, you have to start Ant next to Shea and Scoot needs to come off the bench or Scoot should find time to go play with the Ignite. Yada. No, dude. Just keep throwing him to the fire because eventually he's going to find a way to put the fire out.
Yeah, I'm not worried about any of the struggles from Scoot. This should be expected. Well, what were we expecting? Like MJ? Dame, who had played a full 4 years at college? No, Scoot's very limited in his experience. I think people be crazy sometimes with their expectation level. Now, I'm not, again, he should have a lot of expectation on him because of who he is. But it's not going to be perfect from the start. But you just keep doing what you're doing, like Chris said, and eventually you're going to see some flashes of brilliance. That's what I would expect. Here, let me put it to you this way, as someone told me the other day. Even if he turns out to be a bust, which I don't think is the case, you got to play him and find out. Big minutes. Continue to give him a big load and let him work through all of it because he's got to learn a lot. He's got to learn the passing windows, the speed of the game, his teammates, the concepts they want to run as a team on both ends of the floor, how officials call games in the NBA, all of it. I mean, he's like on a crash course right now, and it's okay. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on Game Day. Chris Burkhardt and Chad Doing with you on YouTube. And also here on 620 Rip City Radio. Tip-off with the Blazers and Sixers is coming up at 4:30. And then tomorrow they're in Toronto against the Raptors. Tip-off at 4:30. We'll have Game Day at 2. Right here on 620 Rip City Radio. How do you think DeAndre Ayton will handle that matchup today with Joel Embiid? It's going to be challenging.
The first few games have been challenging. So, yeah, Joel Embiid might be tough.
You think James Harden's going to play? Or not a chance, not a snowball's chance in HE double toothpicks?
He's probably never going to wear a 76er jersey again.
What a mess. My guess is Embiid can't be thrilled with the situation there in Philadelphia. Like, what in the world's going on?
I don't know how he does it. Like, wouldn't you just be at your wit's end if you were Embiid? Like, you sit here and you look what Portland just went through with Dame, and like, if I were Embiid, I might be asking out soon too. Every time you give me a running mate, he wants out or he doesn't want to play, right? Like Ben Simmons, don't want to play. James Harden, all of a sudden, don't want to play. And here's the thing, like I've said this before to you, Chad, like Damian Lillard requested a trade. We never thought it was going to happen, but he requested his one trade. He's on to Milwaukee. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of players request a trade now and then, but the fact that James Harden, everywhere he has been, at some point, he's like, yep, don't like it here anymore. I don't want to be third fiddle in OKC. I want to go to my own team. So he goes to Houston, where they do everything for him to put together a winning team. And all of a sudden, I don't like it here. I want to go to Brooklyn. Spends, a New York minute with the Nets. And he's like, yep, this place ain't for me. I want to go to Philly. And the dude gets his way every single time. And then every single time he's like, yep, don't want to be here. He's ready to leave Philly already. So do you really want to give up assets to get a guy who might not want to be there that long? It's crazy to me.
All right, some other things that have jumped out to me around the league. You're right. If you continue to baby these fools, they're going to continue to act like children. And that's exactly what's going on. Do you think Harden's just upset he didn't get the max extension? Is this all about money? Probably is.
Probably.
Yeah. The Denver Nuggets look a lot better to start the year than what I envisioned in my mind. They look like a team that's on a mission. I don't know why. I didn't expect them to come out looking to kill fools right out of the gate, but they look solid to start the year.
I think there's probably a mission within that locker room, with that coach especially, to prove that this wasn't a fluke.
Yes.
That it was not a one-off. Because here's the thing. We talked about, listen to all the big talking heads, national TV. Who's the favorite out of the West? Oh, Phoenix. I like the offseason. LA had nobody was saying Nuggets. I was asked that same question last week, and I said, with all due respect to the other teams and their good off seasons, the Nuggets are the champs until they're not. They're my pick. They're good, and they didn't get worse. Like, people sleep on these guys, so there's something in the locker room. Malone definitely saying every single one of them doubts us. The Lakers were mad at us for, talking our trash when we earned talking our trash by eliminating them in the playoffs and then winning a ring. People are disrespecting us despite the fact we won. Let's prove it to them. And I get that vibe, and that's scary with that talent that team has.
I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those guys that's disrespecting them in my mind because I don't want to believe that this team could go back to back. But I think you nailed it. I think Mike Malone knows the situation. People disrespect him. If you want to go down as one of the all-time great teams, you got to repeat. And this is a great opportunity for them to go out there and shut everyone up. And I think the reason why is because there are so many people nationally who don't like Jokic. They refuse to believe he's the greatest player on the planet. He's not LeBron James. He's not Kevin Durant. He's not one of the favorites that everyone loves. So it drives them crazy. And Jokic, and you mentioned this to me a couple of days ago, what I love most about him, he's great and he collects trophies, MVP awards. He doesn't care. And these other guys, they almost go out publicly crying because they want to get the award. And Jokic couldn't care less about the MVP trophy. I love that about him.
Look at the guy at his same position who's been battling him for MVPs, right? Like, he was kind of doing the whining thing about, like, I don't understand why I didn't get it. Like, Jokic could not care less. I love the fact, like, it's so anti-everything. Like, we saw The Last Dance, right, during everyone's lockdown, right, when we had something good to watch, and it's like, oh, yeah, MJ, man, he was all about winning. He was so about winning. He would make gambling or bets on random stuff, like, what color is the usher going to be wearing in his undershirt today? So I'm just that competitive, right? And then you got Jokic, who's like, What was your favorite part about summer? I didn't like it because we played 2.5 months extra basketball, so my summer wasn't very long. Like, this dude just wants to spend time with his horses. Like, people cannot get the fact that Nikola Jokic literally looks at basketball like his 9-to-5 job, because it is. Like, once that buzzer hits triple zeros, like, that's 5 o'clock, and he is clocking out and heading home. And that rubs people the wrong way for some reason, but I love it.
Yeah, the Nuggets look great. They do look like the best team in the NBA, and they are the defending champs. I'll say one thing about the Phoenix Suns. I don't like some of their offense at the end of games where they go ISO and Kevin Durant's double-teamed and trying to force up shots. I understand the game against the Lakers. They didn't have Devin Booker, but it's kind of ugly. Kevin Durant also, as great as he is, he's not quite as great as he was a few years ago because his a lot of miles, a lot of age. You got to have more movement in the offense than just we're going to clear it out and go ISO with KD. The Lakers took advantage of that.
Well, a lot of miles, a lot of age, and that leg injury when you are an explosive player, rely on your quick twitch movements, that's a brutal one, man.
Brutal. Oh, yeah, when I watch the Lakers right now, I forget how many players they acquired during the summertime. It's amazing. I forgot they had Wood.
Drop.
All right. Trailblazers and Sixers are coming up at 4:30. This is a mini little East Coast trip for the Trailblazers. They're in Philadelphia today against the 76ers. Tip-off coming up at 4:30. They're in Toronto tomorrow against the Raptors. Tip-off at 4:30. They're in Detroit to meet the Pistons on Wednesday. Tip-off at 4. And then they're back home for games against the Grizzlies at Moda Center on Friday and on Saturday. And I believe Friday's game will be a plaid out at Moda Center where you're encouraged to wear your plaid. So that's what we're looking at this week for the Trailblazers. Philadelphia today, Toronto tomorrow, Detroit Wednesday, and then Memphis, 2 games against the Grizzlies on Friday and Sunday at Moda Center. All right, we'll keep things rolling here. When we come back, I'll give you my Coors Light cold hard facts for your Trailblazers. And we have our keys to the game that we'll get to before the end of the show. Sixers Blazers coming up at 4:30 here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
You want the truth?
Also, the most important thing that the franchise is going to learn this year has nothing to do with Shaden Sharp or Scoot Henderson. The most important thing is they're going to find out if Chauncey Billups is the right coach moving forward. I'm not comfortable to say what he is or what he isn't right now, but I want to see marked improvement in the team, in the systems they're trying to get these guys to run. I want to know if these players can play the way that the coaches want them to play. And most importantly, I want to see development day by day, game by game, week by week, and month by month as we continue throughout the course of the season. I want to see Scoot and Shaden making strides. And they may be small incremental changes, which is okay. We may see major strides at times, whatever it may be, however it plays out. Those two guys need to really develop. It's going to be critical. So we'll find out if Chauncey has a good pulse on the team, if he has a good handle on what he's doing, or if some of the concerns around the NBA in regards to his tenure as Trailblazers coach being described as disorganized, if that is true. But that's going to be the biggest thing I'll evaluate over the course of time this season. Is Chauncey Billups the right man for the job? And the good thing is, if he is, they can move forward. If not, his contract is set up as such that it's not too expensive to get out of. It's a 5-year deal. He's in year number 3. The final year of the deal is not, fully guaranteed, so they can get out of it. But we got to know. I mean, we're talking about the development of, potential young superstars. They need good coaching. They need good teaching, and they got to get these guys up to speed. I'm just not ready to say what he is or what he isn't. I have no idea. I mean, I have a tendency to think he might not be the right guy, but again, my view is warped based on the first 2 years, which were tank seasons, right? He was brought in to be one thing, and then the situation changed dramatically shortly after he was hired when Neil Olshey was thrown to the curb. How do you know? So we'll find out. I know a lot of you fans are frustrated with Chauncey, and that's okay. Again, understand what you're watching this year. The team's not going to win a lot of games, and that's okay. That's not the goal right now. They made a choice to go young and to rebuild the franchise. This is a rebuild. It's a start over. So when you have a start over, a rebuild, you can't expect a lot of wins. They have a lot of youth, and they've got a lot of work to do on the roster. A lot of the players that are on the team right now may not be on the team after the trade deadline, may not be on the team after the summer. They're still in the business of acquiring talent. And with the youth, you know how youth works. They're kids. So they're going to struggle from time to time, and that's okay. That's to be expected. All right, let's give you an update on what's cracking around the NFL right now with the games that are in action. Browns and Seahawks are tied at 17 in the third up in Seattle. That game's on Fox right now. Walker's got 237 yards passing for the Browns, and Kenneth Walker, 57 yards on 6 carries for the Hawks. Right now in Denver, the Broncos on top of the Chiefs, 14-9 early third quarter, and Denver's driving with the football at the Kansas City 43-yard line. Third quarter down in Arizona, Ravens on top of the Cardinals, 14-7, 113 yards passing and a touchdown so far for Lamar Jackson. Bengals 17, 49ers 10. Early third quarter down in Santa Clara. And coming up on NBC Sunday Night Football, the Bears are in L.A. to take on the Chargers. It was a great sports weekend. You got to feel pretty good, Burkhardt, coming off that Duck game. Physically dominated the Utah Utes and handled every facet of the game, offense, defense, special teams.
Bro, they did everything so nice. And the part that's crazy about football is now you get the naysayers, right? Like, oh, they caught Utah on a bad night. And no. They went into Utah's house and dominated. Would have been a different game if Cam Rising were playing? Yes, but he wasn't playing. And Barnes was kind of finding his groove. The offense was moving. They made sure that was never going to be an issue. And the way they dominated was impressive.
Yep. Hey, you can only face who you got to face. It's not the Ducks' fault that Utah's beat up with injuries. I mean, last year when Utah played Oregon, Bo Nix was not 100%, and they had to go out and find a way to win. They did. But I do think, based on what I've seen, Oregon's the best team in the conference.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've
even with the loss to Washington, I still think Oregon's the best team right now.
Yeah, I mean they rebounded quite well, as where Washington has looked very vulnerable the last 2 weeks. And here's the thing with Utah too, man. I was at that game. Dwight and I doing Rip City Drive down there, Utah, Oregon State. Right. I left that game thinking Utah was still one of the best defenses in the conference. I left that game thinking they outplayed Oregon State for much of that game. They just had no offense to lean on, right? And the Beavers did what a good team does. They took advantage. So it's not like the Utah defense all of a sudden just got bad. Oregon just had the game plan and dominated and did everything they wanted to do, man. It was incredible.
Bo Nix was sensational. Sensational, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix pretty good. Bucky Irving's pretty good. They're playing well, man. They're playing well.
And there's a great connection between Nix and Franklin, which I love too. That makes it a lot of fun. It's good. It's good. You got to feel good about that. The Beavs took a tough loss last night. So really what we're looking at, I guess, would be a situation where you have teams that will play the role of spoiler. Beavs, Arizona's a team to look out for. USC. Based on what I've seen from Washington, I truly believe this, that they're going to have issues with USC. Washington is a one-dimensional offense. They can't run the football. The best way to attack USC is to run the ball, and USC can move the football. That's going to be a struggle for Washington. Not an easy game.
Yeah, and I think USC, that offense, is getting hungry for that get-right game, right? Where the offense just looks like it did.
They put up 50 in a game where they were struggling throughout.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. They want that game where they don't feel like they're struggling. They're just humming. And this will be a good one. I mean, come on, Washington is possibly a dropped fourth down conversion away from being upset this weekend on one of the most inexplicable drop passes I may have ever seen.
What's going on there? Gosh, Stanford, you got to watch out for these teams. And even now with Arizona State, Oregon's got to pay attention. Arizona State's been playing hard. Kenny Dillingham's doing a good job of coaching. Don't let your guard down.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, we called the maybe not the loss, but we did call that this game against Arizona was not going to be easy because they're playing so much better than they were at the beginning of the year. Fafita is the real deal. I like him a lot, man.
He's tough, and that team's a physical team. So this Pac-12 football has been great, man. What a great conference this year. The games have been fun.
Irritates me that it's about to end. At least it's ending on a high.
The highest of highs. This is the best Pac-12 football of my lifetime.
It's great. Every single week is fun football, man. It's great.
We deserve it. We deserve this, right?
We do.
We deserve it. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on Game Day. We'll come back and we'll give you our keys to the game. Tip-off is coming up at 4:30. It's great to be with you on this Sunday. Hope you're enjoying the sunshine, beautiful blue skies here in the Portland area, which is nice. Blazers kick off a 3-game East Coast swing today in Philly. They'll be in Toronto tomorrow.
It's time for Chad Doing's Keys to the Game, brought to you by Gresham Toyota. At Gresham Toyota, we stand behind our commitment to have the best Toyota pricing in Oregon with our Swickard Price Promise.
All right, couple of keys. Number one, the Blazers need to continue to work on turnovers. 18 in the first game, 16 in the second. If you're going to go out on the road and take on a team that has the quality of Philadelphia, you got to protect the basketball. So hopefully they can make some strides in that department. Also, keep an eye on Tyrese Maxey. You got to step up the defense. That guy is really fun to watch. I love his game, and he can score in bunches if you're not careful. And after that, DeAndre Ayton's got to rise up for the challenge, stay out of early foul trouble, and be a force or show a decent amount of resistance to Joel Embiid, who is the reigning NBA MVP. Burkhardt, what are you looking for here today from the Trailblazers? Any keys from you?
Well, it's a loaded question because I don't think this is really a key to victory anymore. It's just keys to watch for, things I want to see. And again, just like the last few games, I want to see those just little slivers of improvement. That's all it's going to take to really get this thing humming in the long run. So I want to see Scoot being aggressive again. I want to see him making some crisp passes. You know what? Test the defenses out. Maybe pass to a window that you're not used to passing through. If it closes and it's a turnover, you know what? It happens. Kind of like you said earlier, and some of the other reporters are reporting or pointing out, if you want to see more Scoot and Shea together, expect it to be a bumpy road. I get that. I want the bumps. I want them to take the bumps, but I want to see them improve while they're doing it.
Me too. I want to see the improvement for sure. All right, let's take a listen to Shaedon Sharpe. He scored a game-high 24 points. It was said before the game he would get the start, and it appears, according to Coach Billups, that he will continue to start next to Scoot as they progress through this period of time, 4 to 6 weeks without Anthony Simons, who is going to deal with the thumb surgery. Let's take a listen to Shaedon.
Shaedon, starting tonight, how do you feel you played, particularly in contrast to maybe the first game versus the Clippers?
I think I played pretty well. The whole goal for today's game was, just come out, compete, just give everything you got. Share the ball, play hard on defense, and I think we did that tonight. I think I played pretty well. Yeah.
Jay, what's different about this year for you?
I think I have a bigger role in just, helping other guys like the rookies. Just because, it's my second year, so I feel like I know a little bit more. And just, scoring the ball and playing defense and, help my team, win games. So.
Shaedon, what do you think of the role that you're going to have to sort of step into in these next few weeks? Obviously, a lot of guys are going to have to pick up the slack with Anthony out. Just your thoughts on that role for you and stepping in as more of a consistent scorer.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Starting in an NBA game, it's always dreamed of it. So, but I put the work in, so I'm not really, fazed by anything. I trust my teammates. I like the group of guys we got here. So yeah, we just got to regroup and get ready for the next game.
And your conversations with Chauncey and sort of how he envisions your growth this season. What does that look like?
Just scoring the ball and just playing the game I know how to play. Like I said, just helping my team, play defense, get stops, and, score the ball, share the ball, get my teammates involved, and just have fun doing it. Don't really, get down on, mistakes and everything. Just have fun with the game. So.
Speaking of defense, where do you kind of feel that you're at, defensively compared to last year? Where do you feel you're at defensively compared to last year?
It's starting to get, a little more easier, just because I know where to be out on the court. So, yeah.
Chauncey has said that he wants you someday to be like Devin Booker. Has he shared that comp with you?
No.
He hasn't told you that?
No, not yet. We had discussions of, the player I can be in the future. But, yeah.
So you're sharp on the court, but how do you stay mentally sharp?
How do I stay mentally sharp? I feel like I'm a laid-back guy, so, I'm always just chilling, and I feel like, there's ups and downs in the game, so you can't get too high, can't get too low. So, yeah.
Shaedon, what are some of the differences between playing primarily with Scoot like you were tonight and are going to be while and is out versus, playing next to Malcolm like you kind of were primarily when you were coming off the bench before that?
School likes to push the ball, so, I got to get out in transition and run with him. Also, he's that dog on defense, so, I got to be right there with him. Malcolm likes to, slow it down and, play his game with pace and everything, and I just got to, play off him. So, yeah.
What's it like without Dame?
What's it like without Dame? It's basketball. we have, great guys that, Scoop, Chris, all these guys is great. So at the end of the day, it's just basketball. You just got to play basketball. So.
And that would be an example of why players get tired of dealing with the media. I mean, just some zingers there. All-time zingers. Horrible questions. You're sharp on the floor, but how do you stay mentally sharp off the floor? To Shaden Sharp. It's like, come on.
How punny can I make this question?
Like, even the look in his eyes after that one, he was like, you got to be kidding me. Well, why are you asking about Dame?
I hate that. I hate that, dude. Dame
Players don't think about that at all.
No, they don't. Like I've told you this before, man, but just mad credit to Carmelo Anthony. Like when he came in, they asked this guy the same exact question at every single visiting city he stopped at, and he answered it like it was the first time ever. It was wild. Like do a little research, man.
That's maddening. It's like, are you kidding me? That's the best you could come up with. It gives me a headache. Yeah, that's why players don't want to answer questions, because they get tired of the dumb ones. Hey, Shaden, you're sharp on the floor. How do you stay sharp off the floor? Oh, that's bad. Oh, well, it happens.
It'd be awesome if he's like, well, I like to consider myself like a nice butcher's knife, and basketball is just my sharpening stone. And just like something corny would have been awesome.
I love corniness. The thing is, especially a lot of times with TV guys or TV ladies, they're looking for that quote that they can plug in, so they throw in a question, and then, sometimes it's bad. All right, that does it for us. Big thanks to Chris Burkhardt, and thanks to me for bringing the show to you today. We're going to be back after the game, which is going to tip off at 4:30. Blazer pregame show coming up here at 3:30. And we're going to be live on YouTube and here on 620 Rip City Radio, breaking it down for you. Enjoy the football and the basketball and everything else, my friends.
Get on up for the downstroke! Oh! Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.